The future of xDefiant looks like a pretty good one. In my eyes, the developers have put in a lot of effort to set this title up for long-term success, and I believe with the upcoming balancing, as well as the changes coming along with Season 1, xDefiant is shaping up to be a big hitter in the arena shooter genre. With that being said, xDefiant is starting its lifespan in the shadow of Call of Duty, and after a massive announcement and reveal of Black Ops 6 that just happened at the Xbox Game Showcase this past weekend, it's definitely beginning to look like it's going to be pretty hard for xDefiant to break free from being known as the free-to-play COD alternative. In this video, we're going to take a look at what's in store for xDefiant coming up, as well as briefly discuss why I believe the game is really going to struggle to find its stride moving forward, and something tells me Call of Duty might have a big role to play in this. My name is Dante. Thanks for tuning in today. Consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video. It's no secret the xDefiant team has been pretty transparent with their plans and their decisions with the game. Executive producer Mark Rubin has actually shared a lot of his thoughts on Twitter, as well as opened up about what the team is working on, their top priorities, and some hints at what they have coming. First and foremost, let's start with the two biggest problems xDefiant has, the hit reg and the netcode for sure. One thing happening to a lot of people is that their shots seemingly disappear out of nowhere, and when you might think you're like hitting a headshot dead on, the game definitely thinks otherwise, and it's pretty frustrating. And when you look back at it, in reality, you probably did hit the shot. It's just the game didn't see it that way. This also leads directly into netcode. Netcode specifically is a blanket term used mostly by gamers to describe server desync within a certain game. I most commonly see this as running behind a wall when being shot at, and then dying in the game after you're already well behind that wall. It's going to be an issue in literally every FPS game. However, the thing about the issue in xDefiant is that you're going to be much further along that wall when dying at that point just makes zero sense. It happens to me personally in just about every game, and it makes me mad every time it happens. Beyond server technical issues, the xDefiant team is soon to address the jump spamming epidemic within the game, as well as the coming nerfs to snipers. I have been playing almost exclusively with snipers lately, but I do agree that some sort of nerf is needed. I just don't really know how I would do that personally. I think the damage is fine, I just think there needs to be more of a penalty for missing. Beyond that, I don't think anything needs to be said about the jump spamming, that is, just because I feel like everyone thinks it's annoying. If you can continuously jump like that to avoid getting killed in game, it kind of becomes unfair, in my opinion, just because tracking is really hard, especially with the controllers that might not be able to keep up with aim assist and things like that. Mark Rubin has also come out and said that cheaters are getting banned. If you saw my video on cheaters in xDefiant and BattleEye, you might understand how much of an issue this really is. I also uploaded a couple clips of people literally floating in the air, spin botting in the game already as well. Mark Rubin has said that the cheater issue is being worked on, though. It's just a constant battle, and it's going to take time, which is understandable. One thing that is coming that I actually didn't know about is a kill cam system. I was surprised to hear about this, considering how difficult the development process for kill cams actually is. A week or so ago, I watched a clip from Nadeshot stating just how hard it is to do kill cams properly in a game, and how much praise the Call of Duty team gets from other industry professionals regarding how well they actually do their kill cams. I think it will be pretty interesting to see how long this feature actually takes, considering just like the sheer scope and size of the task at hand. Another feature that's coming to the game that doesn't particularly affect me would be the custom controller button mapping. I use mouse and keyboard, but for people who do use sticks, I can imagine this is a huge feature that should have been in the game on launch. Something else in the works that can be mentioned here is that consoles will eventually also have mouse and keyboard support, which will be a nice quality of life for those who prefer that input method but don't have a PC. The xDefiant team is also working on a more in-depth career profile page. I am assuming this will come with the ability to look at other players' profiles a bit easier as well. On top of the career profiles, the team is planning on adding reticle customization. I think this is a nice touch, but I don't think it's necessary in a game where you primarily aim down your sights anyways. The only other modern example I can think of similar to this in terms of being like a tactical or arena shooter that has crosshair customization is the Battlefield series. I think this will be a good addition for accessibility, though. If you're colorblind, or maybe you need a high contrast crosshair to see things a little better, I can definitely understand it there. We also have a ping system coming, which is massive. I catch myself trying to ping in-game all the time with my Modern Warfare 3 pings keybind, but it never happens, and I get confused for a little bit every single time. Pings aren't completely necessary, but any game that has them just feels a bit better with team play in those terms. Looking at actual content, we do have a couple confirmed game modes coming in the near future as well. The big one I'm excited for is Search and Destroy. I can't wait to see that in unranked and ranked lobbies. On top of Search, we also have a confirmed tweet from Mark Rubin not even 12 hours ago that's saying TDM is a couple weeks away. A lot of the community has been asking for Team Deathmatch since the alpha came out, and I think it will be a fantastic addition. Lastly, I would like to highlight a specific tweet from Mark Rubin where he stated that the team has no plans for a sequel and that they do plan to support xDefiant for many years to come. I am very glad this is the model they're going with. Of course, we're going to see more seasons, battle passes, cosmetics, things in the shop, stuff like that, but I'd much rather that player model than the typical $70 every single year on a brand new game. And speaking of new games, it's probably a good time to quickly talk about how this game is going to be affected in the future by the Call of Duty releases. With Black Ops 6 Direct just happening yesterday, it is important to put some thought into how this is going to affect the players of this game. As much as I hate to admit it, I don't think people are going to play both xDefiant and a Call of Duty game at the same time. And I think when Black Ops 6 comes out, a lot of the player base will stop playing xDefiant and move over to the new Call of Duty. The real determining factor here will be what the devs do to bring players back. I think the fact that this game came out being labeled by the community as a Call of Duty killer has really been its biggest flaw, considering it will most likely be directly compared to every single Call of Duty that comes out during xDefiant's lifespan. If Treyarch and Activision keep adding innovative features in the new Call of Duty games like Omni Movement that we just saw at the Black Ops 6 Direct, I think it's really going to make xDefiant feel archaic and outdated unless the devs follow in suit with their own innovations or features for the game. I'm really hoping that xDefiant can find a solid foothold in the space it has found itself in. I love the developer response already. This is from all the feedback players have been giving, and I really enjoy their want and need to make players happy, not just the goal of making the studio money. However, I do think the biggest contributing factor to whether or not xDefiant will last is sort of out of the developer's control. Shooters are in this weird place where I don't think a lot of the community will play more than one at once, so it's hard for similar games like xDefiant and Call of Duty to exist in the same space, especially in these arena shooter, casual FPS style games, and that's why Call of Duty has ruled the space for so long. It's really hard for a new game to break into this area and stay around for longer than one Call of Duty game cycle, since regardless of what people think of Call of Duty, the games they release consistently work and perform like a Call of Duty should. I mean, come on. There's been a new Call of Duty release every single year since the release of Call of Duty 2 in 2005. Even though the popular opinion is that the quality of the Call of Duty games has deteriorated over the last decade, I do think the consistency and frequency these games release is insanely impressive. It would be extremely difficult for any developer, let alone a small subsection of a larger studio releasing a free-to-play game, to keep up with this cadence of content release that Call of Duty has adhered to for years on end. Moving forward, I guess time really is the only thing that will tell us if the actual future of xDefiant is good or bad. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this game develops over the coming years, and I'm really excited to see how the emerging competitive scene lasts through time as well. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you enjoyed watching, please consider dropping a like. Also, tell me in the comments your thoughts on xDefiant so far and how you feel about Black Ops 6 coming out soon. Lastly, if you want to catch me live, go ahead and follow me on Twitch. I sometimes stream what I'm playing, and by sometimes I mean I have been live every single day at about 7 p.m. Eastern time for the last week or so, and I don't plan on slowing that down anytime soon. So check me out on Twitch, give me a follow on my other socials. It's all at Dan Totem. And thanks for tuning into the video. Take care.